This is Clara. I am one of the trainers here at NVC. And today I wanted to reflect together with you about what it means to learn and integrate the practice of nonviolent communication in our lives. This could seem maybe a trivial question, but for me, as a trainer in this work and sharing year after year, both the foundational and the more advanced concepts and practice about NVC, it's very important to keep this question fresh in my mind and in my heart. And I keep learning and answering it further every year. This year is a particularly meaningful year for me. It's the 10th year anniversary of my encounter with nonviolent communication. And it's the 5th year anniversary since when I started training and teaching and sharing this work full time. NVC changed the path of my career, my relationships, my relationship to myself, and my relationship with others. And it provided me a whole new inner compass to navigate my life. So as I prepare in these weeks to facilitate the upcoming round of our advanced course, the integration program online, I've been pondering about this question and what does it mean to learn NVC? I like to think about it in at least 2 stages. Maybe there's more than that. But I think at the first stage, which is what we try to capture at the level of our discovery classes, we get an understanding of the fundamental concepts of this work, particularly the role of needs in compassionate thinking, in conflict resolution, the distinction between our needs and our behaviors, our strategies, what we do to meet those needs, and then how to center our awareness and communication around these dimensions of what's alive in us. We start learning about how to connect our habitual thinking to our needs, our feelings and emotions to our needs, our behaviors to our needs. And then we start learning to listen for those qualities in other people, getting a clearer sense of what empathy is, what empathy means. We also learn to distinguish requests from demands as a way to achieve a cooperative action from an awareness of our needs. And we start to exploring a practice of self-empathy and self-connection and celebrating met needs and mourning unmet needs as a way to stay connected to ourselves. At this level, while our practice starts, we call it sometimes the running through tires, right? We isolate individual muscles. We start to understand a concept intellectually. We know what that is. And that, for me, is stage 1. We start knowing what feelings and needs are, how judgments relate to them. And we start trying to see them in our relationships, in ourselves. Then after that, what does it mean to integrate this practice in our lives? And at NVC, we've been trying to answer this question with our programming for, at this point, almost 20 years. And I love what we identified certain key components for the integration of NVC in our personal and relational life. The first crucial one is to create an empathic support system around us. What does that mean? It means that we learn to listen in a different way to each other. And to do that, we need to practice that. It's a way of listening that focuses on understanding and connecting, as opposed to many other things that we do when we listen, which are more geared towards responding, educating, advising, correcting, defending. So we start to experience how good it feels to be heard and to be listened in this way, how it helps us sometimes reperceive ourselves and finding our own answers to the question we deal with. At the same time, we start training our ability to listen in this way. And to do that, to be able to bring this component in our real lives and outside the NVC gym, we need to try it over and over. It's easier to try and learn these skills when the so-called iron is cold, as opposed to diving in right away into the kind of hot situations of our lives. So the existence of this support, this network of empathy around us, serves us both in strengthening our skill and just helping us to get to know ourselves also through the mirror and the witnessing of others. So this is, in my experience, really almost a prerequisite or maybe a foundation of going any further in this work. Once we ground ourselves in this foundation of empathy and empathic support, then we can start developing this ability of moment by moment, day to day, day by day, bringing this lens of empathy towards ourselves. This is what we call self-empathy in our work. The practice of self-empathy, in essence, helps us develop a way to come back to a self-connected place when we're not there. And this is going to happen so many times in our life. There's many instances in which interactions with others and sometimes interaction with ourselves will take us in a place of activation, in a place of habitual response or habitual activities, in places where we're not going to be at choice about what we do, but we're going to be in habitual reactivity. And so that usually takes us in places of disconnection and sometimes of conflict and regret. So developing our self-empathy skills guides us in, as we say, becoming our own best friend, becoming our own empathy buddy. We work with usually intense emotional responses, some of those who are more likely to hijack us: anger, shame, guilt, self-criticism, and so on and so forth, and unpack them, explore them in a way that helps us coming back to a place of connection with our feelings and needs. We also look at our beliefs and all those ideas and right and wrongs that might have really ruled our lives till this point. And we look at them through the lens of needs. And from that, we can allow that inner wisdom to guide us, to make choices that come from a place of inner clarity. And then once we strengthen our ability to read ourselves, read our own body, our heart, our needs, we can start strengthening our muscles for dialogue with other people. A dialogue that's geared toward truly dancing between listening with curiosity and empathy and expressing ourselves from a self-connected place. And whenever that's not there, knowing that we can come back to the drawing board of self-empathy, we can pause and slow down and come back. And at this level, we really go deeper in understanding what it means to operate in request, to operate in agreement with others, and to develop a new relationship to conflict and to whenever we hear or want to say a no, viewing that as an opportunity to connect to what's really precious for us and move towards a solution or an action that everyone can be willing to try and that considers everyone's needs in the conversation. And that involves a variety of skills, including truly understanding these distinctions of requests, demands, boundaries. What does it mean to craft agreements? And then practicing over and over, because real conversations are going to challenge us, are going to activate us. And so we need a gym also for those. We need to simulate them. We need to break them down. We need to practice together over and over. And so this takes us from a place of the intellectual understanding of the concepts to progressively really making this a sustainable new ecosystem in our life. And so we can keep walking together. And one of the things I love that I hear so often when we bring to conclusion one of our advanced programs is how people celebrate, I have a new friend. I have now people who listen to me and practice with me. And that creates a ground of resilience that can sustain us for the rest of our lives. Connection is the name of the game. I deeply believe that while so much is mysterious and often challenging of this journey we do on this planet in this lifetime, it's just better if we can do this together. So that's, I think, what this work can support us ultimately into, removing the blocks to connection when we encounter them, and learning that there's a path back to each other and to ourselves. I would be curious to hear how this lands with you. Thanks for spending some time with me today.